welcome to another episode of Standing 8. I'm Paul Fitzgerald, and I'm joined by my co-host, three-time world champion and Boxing Hall of Famer, Jeff Finnick.
Great to be here. Very excited today.
And the voice of Australian boxing, Ben Damon.
Paul, great to be here, mate. What a fantastic guest we have, a British sporting legend and a man we're very pleased to say lives not too far from us now here in Sydney. Nigel Benn, thanks so much for coming along today. Before we talk about your incredible life and career, probably worth discussing the fact that one of the greatest of all time, Marvin Hagler, has only recently departed. He's someone you've described as a hero. I know Jeff was close with Marvin as well. How marvellous was Marvin Hagler?
I mean, to me, he was the best middleweight around. In my judgment, I just loved everything about him. Just winning in, just all business, not playing around. I just loved his style, everything. I just loved everything about him. It's like my hero, to tell you the truth. And for him to pass at 66 is really a shock, really, to the boxing world. We're all going to miss him, mate.
He was the ultimate boxing person. When you just run, you sleep, apparently you're not supposed to have sex. He done all that. He locked himself away. He was the ultimate professional. Yeah. And like Nigel, he was a great friend of mine, but also an amazing idol of mine. When you were growing up and you wanted to be a fighter, you
Marvin Hagler.
Yeah, you looked at Marvin and you took so many leaves out of his book. He done that, he done this. He was a perfectionist.
Yeah, I think it was just important to mention that at the top of the show. But Nigel Benn, we're here to talk about you and your incredible life and career. Now you're based here in Sydney. How do you enjoy life here? And what brought you over here? I know a lot of British boxing fans who live here. When you tell them that Nigel Benn lives here, that blows their mind.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I didn't want to come here.
Yeah.
My wife said, let's go and look at Australia. I said, what do I go to Australia for? Everything relevant lives in Australia. Why do I want to go there? I said, we're not worrying about surfing. We black men, we don't surf anyway, so I'm not really worried about that. But it was like, I lived in Spain for 12 years. The kids speak Spanish fluently, but I don't. So when I came to Australia, I remember went into a food court in the city, and this Chinese man went, what you want, fried rice? You want noodles? I went, yeah, sweet and sour pork. Went, yeah. I went, oh, yeah. I went, oh, thank you, Jesus. I'm speaking to a man in English. It was so brilliant. And I just fell in love with it. And I'm going to tell you, I've got to tell you this story. Then we came for like about 4 weeks, went down to the Gold Coast, just loved it. Went in the city, we just loved it. And my friend said, I said, go and see the immigration officer, find out what I need to get in. So he went to see the immigration officer and he said, look, I've got a celebrity boxer that wants to move over here. And he said, who's that? He said, Nigel Benn. Oh, Nigel Benn. I went to his gym when I was 12 years old. This immigration officer came to my gym when he was 12 years old. It's like God said I had your back 35 years ago. 35 years ago. And I said, oh, mate, and you know what? I love it here. I wouldn't know where I'd go if I left Australia.
So you're here for good now?
100%.
Do you miss the UK?
No. What?
No.
Really? Really? What do I miss about raining? It's so funny. When you rain, sometimes it's all cloudy and all that, and then all of a sudden you think, oh. And then all of a sudden, it's like the sun breaks through right. I'm here, and open the clouds just evaporate. In England, you think, oh, these dark clouds, how many months are they going to be?
See, I've got to be careful because my fiancée is from Manchester, so I can't.
Oh, that's even bloody worse. Sorry to say. She loves it here, mate, I can assure you.
Nigel, we want to talk about your boxing career. I think an inciting incident from reading your book and talking to you in your life and your career came when you were only 8 years old with the death of your brother, which seemed to propel you towards the sport and it really shaped who you became.
Do you know what? No, would you believe from that time, my life just changed totally. I was scared of the dark. I just had fear. I didn't want to die. I was depressed for many, many years. Many, many years because I couldn't deal with the death of my brother. The only way I can describe it is like when Simba lost Mufasa, he walked around just wandering around aimlessly. That's what I was like for 40 odd years until I got help. Because I never dealt with it. It was like, it was like at the age of 12, at the age of 8, I was smoking cigarettes. At the age of 12, I was spliffing. It was just like everything falling apart until I joined the army. But I was just going through a very, very dark phase in my life for many, many years that I didn't know how to deal with it.
and then you found the army, and then from the army you found boxing.
Yeah, I was always street fighting from there. Back in the day, it was like the National Front. I don't know what you call a National Front here. I mean,
you could sign up.
Like the Ku Klux Klan people. That we were back in the 70s. We always used to having street fights.
Oh, right.
Having street fights. So I was always fighting for the
Right,
right. I was always fighting, and then I had to join the army because I remember I went to court. I got done for shoplifting, GBH, threatened behaviour, handling stolen goods in GBH again. I thought to myself, my dad said, you better go and join the army. So I spent 4 years, 256 days in the army. Army number 246046117, Fusilier Ben, 1st Battalion, Royal Regiment of Fusiliers. So you never forget
You won't
that.
forget that.
Yeah.
But you started boxing in a formal capacity in the army.
But I actually started off back in 1976 when I was doing martial arts, did kickboxing. That's where it came from, first of all. And but I started boxing in the army. If you're good at sport in the army, whatever sport it is, they take good care of you. Instead of you getting up a bed at like 4:45 in the morning, they go and play silly buggers, excuse my French. I'm in the gym just training, while they're all having slops. I'm having steak and salad and everything. So they take good care of you in sports,
You had 40 or so amateur fights, but then your first 22 fights as a professional were all stoppage victories. What was that journey like, becoming a professional and knocking everyone out?
Yeah, it was so funny. It was like, I remember, I'll never forget when I was signing on that you called a dole. Do you know that you call it dole? I was getting, I remember it like it was yesterday. I was getting £36.40 every 2 weeks. And all of a sudden, wow, I get paid £1,000 for knocking somebody out. Oh, I like this. That's how it was. And it just kind of just escalated. And, first 22 fights, 22 wins, 22 KOs. And then we came to Michael Watson. And that was so funny because I thought, what could he do to me? I remember at that fight, I got my head plaited really tight. And if you go to an African to get your hair plaited tight, it's like winning a black man come out like a Chinese man and pulled your hair back so tight. I think, I've got a title fight coming up. But I didn't really care. But the funny thing about Michael Watson, he just knew how to beat me. It was like, I just block his shot. I know he's going to bang himself out. And then all of a sudden, I went back to the corner in the 5th round. My trainer went, now go out there and steam him. So I'm looking in the boxing pamphlet, steam him. I can't find that in here, mate. I'm not going to be in trouble. And all he done, he just hit me with a jab, and that was it. I was just exhausted because before even the fight started, I was on 3/4 of a tank anyway. So then once the fight started, it was just, because I didn't have a second gear.
Is that because you were extracurricular activities outside of the ring? Is that why you sort of had a less in the tank? Or
No, because I was smoking. And, it's just I was addicted to nicotine. The stuff never come along until I started making up the ladder.
And after 22 fights, 22 wins, you thought you were going to win? You were super
100%, Jeff.
Yeah.
100%. I thought, what can he do to me?
Yeah.
And then afterwards, when I come back to the 5th round, I was out. Tank was empty.
You made a lot of changes after that loss. Was it a loss, looking back, that you needed for your career to progress?
100%. Because I never sparred. I hated sparring.
Why?
Oh, because I'm not getting paid for that.
No.
Listen, when I went to 5th Street Gym, I had to start sparring. I remember I was sparring with a guy called Freddie Pendleton, but he was only a lightweight, but he was great. Yeah. And he'd be going bang, 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 bang in my height. Headgear fly off. I think, freaking hell. And I used to go to bed. I think, oh Lord, just break my ankle. I don't want to spar no more. I don't want to do this. I just didn't like sparring. But that was because. But then after 6 weeks, I started to understand what it was all about.
You're getting used to it.
Yeah, I thought to myself, okay.
Without it, you can't be successful.
This is how they do it.
Yeah.
This is how they do it. And I mean, sometimes I was like big cruiserweights, and they used to knock me around. But for the first 6-week period, I didn't mind that. I was getting to learn the trade.
Mentally, how do you bounce back from a loss like that? Because 22 wins, 22 knockouts, you're indestructible, invincible. How do you, from a mindset point of view?
To find out, am I all hype? am I really all right? Or am I good as what I think I can be? And so I went back there and I just went through and said, okay, because I thought to myself, can I do 10 rounds? That's the first thing, because I used to struggle doing 3-minute rounds as an amateur. Then all of a sudden, I'm doing 10 threes. And then once you know you do 10 threes, you can do 12. So once I know I got that, once I kind of break that in my head, that, I've done my 10 3-minute rounds. But I just wanted to see how good I was. I know I had the power. To take people out.
Well, you started taking people out again pretty soon after that. You won your world title, and then the Iran Barkley fight is one that's probably not as well thought of in your career as the Eubank fights, but an incredible performance.
Nothing. You know what, my fight? You can't miss out Doug DeWitt.
Doug DeWitt to win the world title.
Yeah, you got to win. Because Doug DeWitt, I remember, we come out in the middle of the ring, and he goes to me. This is before it was the way, and he goes, "You're going down." I said, "Yeah, I might go down. So are you." That was my attitude. And at the time, we had 8-ounce gloves. Oh my gosh, not 8-ounce gloves. So they're just round my hand. I can feel my knuckles sinking in. Yeah. I mean, when I was hitting him fast and wild, but yet I knew we weren't going to go. I know we weren't going to go 12 rounds. I just knew it, and I mean, he was taking so much hard blows.
He took a lot of shots. I rewatched that quite recently. Actually, he took so many shots.
Yeah, and Iran Barkley, how I beat Iran Barkley, I was scared of Iran Barkley. I thought, well, not scared. I thought, got to train hard for him. Mm-hmm. And I thought to myself, done the sparring, done the running, taking the vitamins, done everything. And all of a sudden, at a press conference, we come out, we looked at each other. I thought, well, you can have it right now if you want it. I was looking at him, and he looked down on the ground. I thought, yes, I've got him. He looked down only because he went and he looked down. I thought, yes, I've got him. And the first thing I come out, the first punch I threw, I done a hot skip and a jump, went bang, straight right hand. I just knew I had him. Yeah. I knew I had him.
And you rocked him straight away. You hit him a good shot on the ground as well.
Oh, no, but that was the adrenaline going, stay down, you. Stay down.
Isn't it crazy how when you think of things, styles make fights. And you look at Barkley, beat Hearns, Duran gets knocked out cold by Tommy. He beats Iran Barkley. You kind of try to put this puzzle together. It's styles make fights.
Yeah.
You know?
But taking him out in a round, that must rank highly in your history.
No, but I didn't actually want him to stop in the first round. I didn't want a free knockdown rule. I didn't want a free knockdown. I wanted to give it to him. I really wanted to give it to him because everyone, he's going to beat you, mate. He's so ugly. Tears won't even run down his face. But I really wanted to bash him. I really want to have a war with him. That's all I wanted because I thought to myself, he's strong, but he's slow. But very powerful.
That's one thing with you. When you're in the ring, you're so aggressive. Like your entrance and just your demeanour, you're like a caged animal, you know.
It's crazy that we sit here today because earlier on, Nigel was giving young Brock a big rap. Young Brock Jarvis, we're talking about it. But Brock and I have been watching some of Nigel's fights because Brock and I sit down and watch all great fights. And wow, you certainly was something special.
But you know what it is, Jeff? And actually, like I don't mind going to the subject a bit, but watching Brock, I thought to myself, oh my gosh, he's an animal. He really is. I thought to myself, and I thought he's been out a year. He was out a year, and he
16 months, yeah.
Yeah, all right, and he come back and he done what he done. I think them body shots are just.
I must be his trainer.
I don't mind that. Whatever it is, mate, it works. It works.
Nah,
it works.
He's a hard worker, mate.
It works, mate. But so fighting.
No, I just want to ask you a question. Like we're just talking now, like I said, man, when I watch your fights, I think to myself, excuse me, now their fights today, fights are nothing like it. And I don't just say this disrespectfully. But Canelo Alvarez, those guys couldn't have lived against Chavez, Duran, or those guys around their way, or Nigel Benn. Today, look, they've got it easier. I just think that we're at a stage of the world where the fighters aren't like they used to be. When you think of Hagler, Hearns, Leder, Duran, Chavez.
We followed them.
And it's just crazy. And then I look at these fights there and I think, for instance, and I love Floyd, because I think Floyd's an amazing. I love Manny, but when they fought between them, they threw like 600 punches between two guys in the whole fight. I threw that in 3 rounds on my own, you know. And you were the same. It just the fight game's just changed, and you see all these guys today, Nigel. They're talking to each other on it, like. I know Mike Tyson's got his beautiful trailer, but he's got these guys talking and calling each other out and laughing with each other on Instagram and on FaceTime.
We never had that.
I would never talk to one of my fighters.
100%.
Not even at the weigh, not even until after the fight. Then I'll appreciate everything you've done. I know you went through what I went through, but prior to that, I don't want to talk to them. I don't want to even shake their hand.
It's like, you know what it is? It's like, right, Nigel Benn fighting Chris Eubank, boom, that's it. Yeah, I can't wait to meet him, boom, that's it. And then we get prepared. Not like now, it's all like social media. That can all get in your head.
There's a great bit of footage of you and Chris when you signed the
Yes.
contracts on live television.
Yeah, I've
And
seen that too.
You're sitting behind him and he's sitting in front of you and you're sort of just going at each other, and he's obviously got a very different style.
You pushed him
to you.
But what it is, you got to look at, right? I don't know where it come from. I've got a plastic soldier in my hand. And I think, where did this plastic soldier, like you know, the little soldiers back in, I've got that in my hand and I'm playing around with it on a horse. I thought, what? Look at it, and you think, where did that come from?
Notice that.
Yeah, look at it. But I really didn't like him, because the way Chris used to carry on, it's like the Queen should be living in Hove and he should be living in Buckingham Palace. Got the wrong addresses, you know what I mean?
That's a different sort of
He dressed like the Queen.
But no, but I think he was actually a sharp dresser. He's ugly, but he's a very sharp dresser. But he was. That's another.
He was your perfect dance partner, though, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Like, just because you were so contradictory to each other outside,
Yeah,
and
but
stylistically it made a perfect.
Did you see his body? I said, Lord,
You'd be jealous.
what's this? What's going on here? Look at it. He's got muscle on top of muscle. His head was like shaped like a mallet. It was just so strong, and he had muscles. Unbelievable.
And the first fight between the pair of you was an incredible fight. No losers in a fight
It
like
was
that.
the best. It was better than the second.
Yeah, certainly.
Very apprehensive.
No losers in a fight like that. But was it his power that surprised you? Did he punch harder than what you thought going into that fight?
Yeah, he punched hard, mate. And sometimes I've done a couple of, my legs have gone, oh, did you see that? Yeah, I saw that, mate. Oh, because once your leg goes and that's it, you can't disguise it. Oh, I saw that.
The amazing thing was that you're talking about early on, but you're certainly prepared probably for that fight, because you're able to recover and come back and give him everything that he gave you.
Yeah, but it's like, like they said, I shouldn't have stopped the fight. I think, yeah, they did in my eye. The only way I can describe it, it was like someone pricking me with a needle. So every time he was hitting me, it was like a pain just shooting up. And not only that, he was strong. It was his day. I mean, he was a good shots on the chin. They just bounced off. Bing! Oh.
So looking back, you're happy with the stoppage of that fight?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Because it was late in round 9.
Yeah.
A lot of people thought if you were given the chance to go again, maybe you could produce the shot.
But you only
had one eye.
Yeah, that was not that, and he had a jaw like he's like granite. So they were just bouncing off him. It was his day. It was his day, and plus, went from the WBO 4th division to the Premier, built the WBC. So I was happy for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're a megastar in the UK before that fight, and then even bigger after that fight. How did you cope with the celebrity, especially in the United Kingdom?
Well, it's so funny. I think Jeff will understand this, because when you start going up there, there's people that come out from all walks of life, and you end up meeting some naughty people, and all of a sudden they become your pals. They become your pals, and we had a firm. We used to go out for 10 years. We used to go out clubbing, Ministry of Sound. I lived in there. And I remember the fight I fought a guy called Sugar Boy Malinga.
Oh, yes.
And I had it could have gone either way.
Yeah, it went the distance.
Yeah, and someone went, and I was depressed. I thought, and someone went, go and have one of them. And they put the finger up, and I followed it. The next minute, because it's all in the book anyway. Next minute, I've got this rush that hit me out, because I was like a straight guy. I didn't drink, I didn't do nothing.
Just smoke.
Just smoke. That was it. Because I'd never done cocaine, because it was like, back in the day, it wasn't a black man drug. We couldn't afford it. It was all like the stockbroker guys and all that. You know what I mean? When it was just smoke the spliff and that was it. Cost me nothing.
Still is.
Right. But then all of a sudden, and I had this little thing, and the only one could describe it. If any of you lot watch one, I don't know if you lot might watch it. Madagascar. When the lion gets shot in the backside and he's ooh, that was me all over the place.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest with you, from that time, I became addicted. From that time, first one I had, a little fella, I was addicted, and it was like because I was going through a divorce as well, and I had this little thing just took me away. And then from that time I took one, I was just addicted to it.
Ecstasy was massive in the UK at that
Oh,
time.
yeah.
How many were you getting through? Like
No.
like
So
churning through
when
them?
you got people taking all 5 and 6, no, that's it. They must have the wrong ones.
Oh, right.
I'll have other
You have
snow
the good
ball,
ones.
New Yorkers, triple X's, whatever, rhubarbs and all this bananas, and you know what they are. You have like one of them.
Right.
One of them, because I'm fit.
Yeah.
So when you have it just takes your head off. But I could not wait to have my fight. Be like, yeah, bang, bang, bang. Come on, lads, let's go out for 10 years.
Right.
10 years, we'd just be clubbing.
And so day after day, would you be back on them, or is that
Oh, for like when I was
outside of training camps?
yeah, never while I was training.
Yeah.
Nothing while I was training. What it was like.
But you'd back up day after day going out.
No, we would go. Oh,
You'd be out for days.
no, we start. Yeah, that's it. We
So
start
Monday sleep till Wednesday.
No, hold on. And we do Thursday strings.
Yeah.
Friday gas club. Saturday Ministry of Sound. Froggy nightgown. So we go to bed about Monday morning.
Yeah.
Thursday to
And
Monday.
then Thursday we're up, and then it would go on until I go away training. But you know, it was an addiction that that was hard to break. And plus, I didn't have to pay for nothing. It was like we had these we call them bullheads, mate, all these big lumps around. But it wasn't like I need protection. It was just like
No, they love being around you.
Yeah,
They
and
wanted to be you. That's
yeah,
what
yeah,
that's what it's about.
And we all used for years. We just used to all like hang out. Then we go away trainings where they come away just to watch how I train and everything. So I'd done it religiously, training hard. But then after that, then I had to have that let off period where I'd like for about 4 or 5 weeks.
Was that just a blur, that whole period? Did it feel like just a blur because you're just partying, training?
Listen, I remember it all like it was yesterday. I'm sorry to say, it's actually the best part of my life. Why do I say that? Because through that season of life, I learned so much about myself. It helped me deal with my depression and a lot of suicide that I actually was dealing with. And it was like, and the only thing that I felt really sad about is like the affairs that broke my wife's heart. But she'd been with me nearly 30 years now. She stood by me and helped me get through all these difficult times. But it was like the only way that I could get out without suffering with this depression. And so it wasn't a blur, but some of the times, and I watched a program about the hippies back in the 60s, and I was watching these women dancing, and the guys would be like that, drooling. I thought, man, that's me. I thought, oh my gosh, that's me. So it's like the 60s in the 80s and the 90s, it was exactly the same. It was, but it had to come to an end. But it was so much that.
So do you tie your addiction at that point and the mental health issues that you've been through to what happened to your brother? Is that
100%, because I didn't, back in the day, you got to understand, my brother was my hero. He was killed by racists. He was pushed through a window and cut his groin, fell through a window, cut his groin, and bled to death. 17. So when you think about it, he was in that garden on his own. You try and think about it. All the blood left him. 17 years old. And it was something that, really, really affected me, because it was like, I try and think about it, because when he was 17, I thought, God, yeah, he's a man. I was only like 8 years old. I used to hang around with him, go to the house where he was at. Because the woman that he was seeing, he was 17. She was about 35. This big Irish woman. I don't know what he saw in her, but, that's neither here or there. So, but it just really affected me all for all my life now. I'm carrying these issues in my life, because back in the day, no one ever talked about it. Mum and Dad never talked about it, because they look at it, they brought him all the way from Barbados when he was a kid, brought him over here, and he ends up dead. So they struggled with that, and it was only until I was 45, 46 that I took my mum down to the grave when my life had changed, that we had to go and deal with it. I said, and I bought them a big tombstone. They didn't have that. And they said, you know, thank you for doing this, because they couldn't feel it. They felt like they failed their son. And so, you know, there was a lot of crying and everything. So, but yet I still hadn't dealt with what I was going through, because from them issues, there was so many things that come from it, like depression. I used to, in fighting for custody of my kids and everything, and it was like, do I shoot myself? Do I want this? Or did I just want someone to put their arm around me and say, you know what, you're going to be all right?
That would have been better, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
but you don't think like that, because you're on your pills and all that, and you're just struggling.
And the other thing, everybody thinks you're a big, tough, strong guy. This guy's out the street beating people up, and you don't need help. But yeah, we do need help. We all need help.
We do, and you know what, isn't it so funny? I look and I think to myself, I'm not strong. I tell you who's strong, my wife. Now, because if she told me she cheated on me for 16 years, I want to go and find every single one of them guys. But that's what we men do. But what does she do? And it wasn't, she didn't find it. I told her when my life changed, when I became a Christian, I told her, confessed everything. Left my wife for 1 year. We lived with my pastors, didn't watch TV or nothing, just studied the Word of God. My whole life kind of changed. That's when everything changed in my life. It was just like I've been reborn. It's just like, I think, wow. And I have peace, because I had to deal with all the drug addiction. Stop smoking, stop sleeping around, stop taking ecstasy. Everything just changed.
But you had a sex addiction during that period as well, didn't you?
It wasn't just that period that started at the age of 12. 12 it started. What was that? Oh, I've got to do that again. That was it.
You talk about a sex addiction, but like when you're a world champion, or when girls have an addiction to you as well, so it creates it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's right.
It creates it.
100%. And then when you kind of, it's not like, you know, I don't know Brad Pitt or anything, but you know what, I don't do too bad. But it was one of these kind of things that, you know, because you had everything you want. You got the money, you got the fame, you got the mansions, you got the Bentleys, you got the Ferraris, you got literally everything. And actually ended up in Buckingham Palace. It's like me saying, I live in Blacktown, and yet... No, I live in Blacktown, I live in Glenorchy. But what I'm saying is, it's just like, well, I used to live in England, so it's like me from Blacktown, end up in Buckingham Palace. Garden party, what am I doing here? You know, so it's weird how things like, you know, from a guy that was signing on, getting £36.40 every 2 weeks, I'm in Buckingham Palace. I'm at this show with Will Smith. I'm at this film with Denzel Washington. I'm at this film with Samuel L. Jackson. So it's like all these things. Wow.
What I find fascinating about your story is you suffered with addiction, depression, but during that whole period, you're still a world champion. Like, it's incredible.
I think the army helped me a lot with that.
I tell you what, it is crazy, because when we talk about Nigel, I was blessed. I trained Mike, and Mike was a similar story like me, but he was still able to go out there and perform. You know, it's crazy what these guys are really built of, and that's why they're special. That's why he's loved, and he should be, because he was special, and and for him to go through that, and then to be here today and to be able to explain, and all this is doing is going to help other people. It's not going to make it's not going to do anything but help people. I think he's an amazing human. That's why I love Mike so much. He's able to change his whole life for Nigel and do what he's doing today. And like I said, I've seen him when he's just about being dead, and I thought he was going to die. I thought, wow, my mate's going to die, and I was outside standing in front of his house crying, thinking, wow, what's going? And look at him today. It's crazy. Look at him today. It's crazy.
It's so funny you saying that about Mike, because it was some guy that, you know, had all these white tigers. I see you with them and all that, and then all of a sudden, he's lost everything. He could have been one of the richest sportsmen going, but he lost everything. Look where he is now. He's doing even better now.
Can you believe it? And he'll have more money. His marijuana company and stuff.
No, can you believe that?
It's gonna make him more money than boxing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was just over there with him a year and a bit ago, just before COVID came in, and looking at the properties that he's bought. And look, I've got to just say, his wife Kiki's an amazing lady. I think, you know, when you meet the right partner like you have and I have, people talk about having their mates as their best friends, but if you have the right partner, like I said, she's the strong one. My wife's the strong because they know what we've been through and they know what we're capable of, but they still support us.
Yeah.
He's blessed. Yeah, he's blessed. He's got a great supporting system, and wow, he's killing it.
Back to your story, Nigel. You won another world title in Italy, and then you had the rematch with Chris Eubank, a massive fight, one of the biggest fights in British boxing history.
Well, we actually had over 18.5 million in England and over $500 million around the world.
Right.
I think it was 1 in 4 Brits watched that fight.
Yeah. And so it was like it was a big fight, and it was at Man United at Old Trafford. I mean, I thought I won it though, but you know, I'm happy having a draw and a loss.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as I've got that belt around me, I've still got £1 million around there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So you don't hold it. Do you look back and go, I won that fight? Or do you just...
No. You know what it is? I look at it and I think, oh, thank you, Lord, for bringing Chris into my life.
Yeah.
I do. I really do. To be able to retire at 32. And I think that's all down to Chris, really. I mean, he's the guy that, wear joppers, monocle, cane, big juggernaut. But he had style. He actually had class. I think I was envious of him in some place. He'd go and buy an Aston Martin. I thought, all right, then I'll go and buy a Bentley Azure. What else are you going to buy? You go and buy a mansion. Okay. So we was always in competition with him. But I couldn't put on a suit like him. He put on a suit, he'd be absolutely immaculate.
Brock tries to dress like him.
Brock, you better not, mate.
He still is the Chris Eubank of old, though. He hasn't really changed. Whereas you've sort of got rid of that persona.
No, because the reason why, he's got an image that he has to portray. It's hard for him not to be himself.
Right.
And
so
I've
you don't
seen,
think that's him? That's it.
I know it's not him.
Yeah.
He F's in blinds and everything. I said, what are you swearing for? When we was gonna get it together, we was gonna have a third fight. But he's not like that. But because he's been playing that part for so long, it's hard for him to get out of it.
I had a great evening with you when we both got inducted in the WBC Hall of Fame. It's great, eh, brother?
How good was that?
How great was that?
How good was that?
Champions,
I mean, you know what I mean? Like I said, guy from Blacktown, we're in Vegas, we're standing on the stage with Marvin Hagler, Tyson,
Ray Leonard,
Burns, Oscar De La Hoya, Evander Holyfield, the whole, and we're there. And you think, wow. Because I look where I come from to actually end up there. How good is that?
How great was it?
And to have your image on the belt as well.
Yeah, and I think to myself, if Canelo keep doing what he's doing, I'm going to get taken off. I'll say, can't take Joe Kawasaki on. Take Joe, not me. Please, leave me on there.
You're going to be there for a while yet.
We have to talk about the Gerald McClellan fight. An amazing fight on the face of it.
It's actually very easy. It's not. I'm not being disrespectful. It's not like you don't wish that on anybody. But a lot of things were said before the fight, because what you got to understand with the fight, I was meant to fight Michael Nunn, and Michael Nunn was a slippery 6'2" southpaw. Yeah. He was a good fighter. And they said, well, look, we'll fight Michael now, but we'll take $100,000 off. I said, don't be silly, I ain't taking $100,000 off. This is with my manager. Yeah. He said, if we don't, we're going to bring in Mini Mike Tyson. So they thought, red
rag to a bull.
What? You won't bring him on? You effing it. I was cussing. Said, go and bring him on. Go and tell him, bring him on. Go and tell him to bring. I'm not like that. I don't work like that. I spent only 4 years, 256 days in the army, spent 18 months in Northern Ireland, watched 6 of my friends get blown to smithereens. Do you understand? Don't know if I'm coming back. And you think this man with 2 arms and 2 legs is going to beat me? Yeah.
So the narrative was that you were getting knocked out, and you were getting knocked out early. That's what people were saying.
That's what they were saying.
1 to 3 rounds.
Were people around you saying that as well? Was there anyone in your camp or near you that...
What are you on about? Anybody said it? I'm fighting. What are you talking about?
Did you have to fire anyone?
Yeah, drop out. What?
Did you have to fire anyone?
No. We're all confident. We're all confident, mate. It was like, as soon as that he said what he said.
Of course they were all confident. They're not getting punched like you were. You're going to win, brother. You're going to win. I'm not getting punched. I'm looking at it. Of course you're going to win.
It's so funny, Chef. It didn't even worry me. It didn't actually worry me whatsoever. I knew I was going to win. And I remember what he said to my dad really annoyed me.
Yeah, well,
He said to my dad at the press con, I'm going to hurt your boy. When he said that,
you got to do what you got to do.
oh, that's it.
Is that what he said?
That's what my dad said. Is that in the book?
Yeah, no, you told me once before.
Oh, okay, right. Right. So, yeah, that's what he said. You got to do what in his Beijing accent. You got to do what you got to do.
That's right.
That's what my
You
dad
can tell he hasn't been punched in the head. He remembers everything.
So then afterwards, it was like, so, and then I thought to myself, talk to my dad like that. So I had like little things in me that you're being disrespectful to my dad. God rest his soul. And I remember I come out and I looked at him. It was like, he was slim, but I looked at him, mate. And he just, I was not scared at all. Just,
Were you a
just
bit worried when
eyeballing.
he put you through the ropes in the first round?
No, hold on, let me get there, mate. Let me get there. Let me just enjoy a bit further before I get there. So anyway, so it was like we just stood there and I wasn't scared whatsoever. And I remember he hitting me, but then he hit me up in my head. And then all of a sudden, it was like, something just went out. I just went out. It was just like, and I went out and I looked up and I thought, I'm on the floor. I remember that. And I got up and I don't know what happened. And I was walking, but I was like, I wasn't all right because I can't remember nothing. Then I went back to the corner and Denny Mancini, God rest his soul, he went to me, look at the state that you've got him in. Look at the state that you've got him in. I'm like,
Those tough cornermen. Those tough cornermen, huh?
really? Really? All right, really? Ring the bell. Watch the second round. I'm chasing him around.
Yeah.
Because what's actually happened, something in my subconscious has changed. He's bashed me out the first round. He's bashed the granny out of me. But what's happened, something in my subconscious, something's just changed. He's hitting me. I don't feel nothing.
What changed?
I don't know. Because Danny Mancini
Couldn't feel
said,
nothing anymore. He was numb.
Danny Mancini said, look at the state that you've got him in. And I believe what he was saying. So when he said that to me, something just changed in my mind. I've never had that before in my life, in all my career. Because sometimes I get, I felt that. I didn't feel one thing. Even when he put me down in round 8, I remember coming out and right hand, left to uppercut and thought, when you come out for round 9, you got more of that. That was my whole attitude. I did not feel nothing. And it was so funny because after the fight, Don King, watch the fight. At the end, Don King goes, yeah, you made a believer out of me. Yeah, you only brought him over here to bash me up.
That's
Because at the end of the day, I know Don King, he still wants to work with me because he worked with me all through all my fights. So it's like, and he knows I was bringing a good crowd, so he ain't going to say anything to me. I'll say, be off, mate. I'm not interested in you. But that was it. But then after the fight, what did I want to do? I wanted to go to Ministry of Sound. But I couldn't because I was like urinating blood, 3 days, shadow on my brain, and a fractured jaw. But I still wanted to go out. The addiction and all that.
Yeah. Your opponent was in a lot worse condition, obviously, and remains so. But do you have any recollections of during the fight of seeing the blinking and all that sort of stuff that he was doing? You didn't notice?
I was in my own space.
Yeah, of course.
And I remember after the fight, I walked into it was just like the Rocky. I walked out of my room into his room and said, I'm sorry, and I kissed his hand. And I walked out. That was it. That was the last time I saw him. And then afterwards, we done a show for him. Did you hear about that?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw the documentary.
We raised about $250,000 for him. And it was like, and I thought to myself, then after that, well, before that, his sister said, we wanted Ben dead, now we want his money. What? You had a billionaire promoter that brought him over here to bash me out, and you think that I'm going to pay? But yet we still when I done that documentary with him, oh my gosh, I had to get out of the place. I was so heartbroken because he said he was asking his carer, his sister,
the sister.
asking how was he, and it was like, I know he didn't mean it. how's he feeling? And I thought, oh, and I was up. It was up and down, up and down.
Yeah.
And I couldn't deal with it. I said, I just want to get out of it because I couldn't, because I was emotional.
Yeah,
I never thought I'd be.
I'm watching, I was tearing myself.
I never thought I'd be emotional. But it was the way
it seemed that was important for everyone that you came together.
Yeah, 100%.
That was great.
But a lot of celebrities all came out.
Yeah.
They all came out and paid a lot, $250,000. But then after that, what does her sister try and do? Try and sell a book about that I was on steroids and all that. And if you heard me at the end, I said, like, you know what? If you said I had recreational drug, I said, yeah, put my hand up. I'm not going to take. How can I take enhancing drugs? Everybody think, Nigel, how can you do that to it? I feel like, Ben. You remember Ben Johnson, the runner?
Yes.
I'd feel like that.
Yeah.
I'm not that. If you said I had a spliff and took some pills, and I'm like, yeah, I'll put my hands up.
His trainer made those allegations.
Yeah,
as well.
well, he's what's his name? He was cranky. The I can't remember his trainer.
The eccentric character.
But I was able to.
Was it?
I was able.
Panama Lewis? Is that his trainer, Panama Lewis?
No. I think, you know what it was? It was nice to be able to say, well, you know what? I've done what I had to do.
Oh, you done what you had to do. It was great what you done. Can't do anymore.
Yeah.
You fought on a bit further, but then last year you thought about making a comeback, or the year before, against our own Sakio Bika.
Right, listen. Yeah, but I could do him. I don't care, mate. Sorry, Sakio. But you know what it is? It's one of those things that, I tell you for why. I was stress-free, and I've been doing like a Tour de France ride. I do a lot of bike riding. Oh my gosh. And I forgot I've got you on my iPad. I've got it in the car. I'll show you. We went to a fitness centre, like equivalent of going to Mosman, the top fitness. And they done all my tests. Right. You got right on the bike, and they took my lung capacity, heart capacity, and everything. Right. And if they said, like, you're a fit 45, you're off. Oh, I'm 55, I'll take that. If they said 35, I thought, no, you're joking. But when they said that I've got the fitness of a very fit 25-year-old, I thought, God damn. Do you know, because I do a lot of altitude masks. Do you wear your mask? No, right. No. Listen, I'm telling you, you got to wear this, Jeff. I'm telling you, mate, listen.
Take the mask off, he's got to give you the ring.
Altitude mask, because I'll tell you for why. Eventually, I told Conor to expand your lungs. Because it's an altitude mask. I said he's doing it, but I used to start running 30 minutes with it. Tell a lie. Shadow boxes for 30 minutes. Now, I can do 2 hours with it on full blast. So these are the kind of things what you need to do. Instead of you having to go to
altitude,
wear the mask, and I guarantee you within 6 weeks, you'll start seeing a difference, because what you're doing, you're expanding your lungs.
That'll be great. So you can wear that when we go out, so the girls won't look at you, they'll look at me.
You must have some amazing genetics, because you smoked for your whole career, partied your ass off, and you're still
the discipline from the army. That's the reason why I can continue to still train now. It's only because the training that I learned from the army, that discipline.
The discipline, yeah.
The discipline I have.
And it's all the mindset, isn't it?
100%.
It's all the mind.
And I was only talking about that to the other people that I'm helping people in the army, in my battalion, they're struggling with is Fusiliers versus suicide. And what you just said there hits the nail right on the head. We can deal with whatever we have, because it's all about our thought pattern. How do we think? How do we move? How do we hear? What goes in our mind? It's all about our thought pattern. And that's the same thing what you're talking about. Yeah. How can I help these guys?
Did you injure yourself in training for the comeback fight, or did you just decide?
No. See, I've got to have 2 operations, because I was having cortisone, but I've got 2 tears in there. But I'll be honest with you, I'm gonna tell you the truth. Not that I'm lying anyway. I've got to have an operation. But I came off my meds.
Antidepressants.
I got bipolar.
Yeah.
But then what it is, it's so weird. It's not like I go get depressed. It's like I train twice every day. I've already trained this morning, and I'm going to go train. I just live for training. But what happened, because I thought, I'm all right, I don't need these. I put the tablets away. And something come in my head, you can still fight, mate. Look how fit you are. Yeah, you were cool. Yeah, I feel good. Yeah. No, this is what it was.
Yeah.
Listen, I can show you. I got in contact with Roy Jones. He didn't want to fight. Tried to fight Steve Collins. He was like pricing himself out. And I thought, but it became an obsession that I wanted to fight. I wanted to fight.
I ran into you about 4 years ago, and you were going to try and fight Chris Eubank again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. This was what, I just wanted to fight because I came off my meds. And it was just, I just wanted to fight. And I thought to myself, because I'm more fitter now than when I was world champion.
You're glad it didn't happen?
Oh, yeah. 100%. 100%. Still like a fighter.
Well, now you get to watch your son, who's doing so incredibly well. World ranked, Conor Benn, fighting out of the UK, doing a great job, and he's got a really big fight coming up shortly as well against Samuel Vargas.
Yeah. You know what it is? I look at my son. You know, he's learning, and what I do is learning on the job, and his training's really, really good. I love everything how his trainer's training him. You know, at first when I saw him, I thought, not really sure, but watched how he's progressed Conor, and Conor's doing well. He's shot up the ranks.
And you were saying, I heard you earlier, he's only had 20 amateur fights, so he's learning on the job.
Absolutely.
They get better, same as young Brock. I mean, Brock had 13 amateur fights. Every fight, we look at something and he improves, and he's one of those kids, I'm sure is very similar to your son. Brock watches, I make Brock watch his own fights more than anybody else, just so we can see what he could have done, what he should have done, what the other guy done, and I'm loving it.
And you know what it is? Conor's like me. I never watch none of my fighters that go I'm fighting, because if I watch and my trainer tries to teach me something, I'm not going to listen to him because I've got that mindset. I've seen what he does. But if Jeff's training me and Jeff's training, nice, boom, boom. So what he tells me, I'm going to do. But if I go and start watching it on my own,
you've really got a preconceived
version
of what's going to happen.
If you tell me what to do, boom, watch that. He does this, then I'll do what you tell me to do. Then I won't go wrong.
No, I just crazy say, because I always tell Brock, listen, don't worry how you're going to make them fight your fight. My job, your job is to get them guys to trade you, because when they trade you know you're going to knock them out.
Yeah.
Brock's, we do the same. So
that's it. Yeah. That's it. But you can see that though. Yeah. You can see that.
He seems to have inherited your power. He's knocked out 14 of his 17 opponents.
No, he's still got boy strength. When he becomes a man, he's going to do that. Because me and him, we have banter and all that. He always said to me, I said, you can knock me out. What are you talking about? You're an old man, I can knock you out. I remember I sparred with him here in PCYC.
You had Brock Jarvis, isn't your son as well? I didn't say that because you peeled me before.
It's like, and I found myself, and I thought, oh. And then, he put it on me, mate. I thought, oh. And it was so funny because I was punching him, and then after about 6 rounds sparring. But I wanted to, because I sparked him before in my garage at home.
Don't think you meant to do that.
No, ask him. Chipped teeth too. Blood everywhere, everything. Oh, yeah. He was only 15. So he wanted to get me back. And then after it was like that. And he was bashing me up and he was doing body shots. I thought, oh, God, you do that to your dad? My whole attitude changed, you know what I mean? I wouldn't spar with him now, though. Yeah, he's top quality.
He is, yeah. He's got some huge things coming up this fight soon. But, what do you hope to see from Conor in the next little bit?
Do you know what it is? I always say to my son, you know what I mean? Just keep your foot firmly on the ground. Don't let it go to your head, because it can happen again. I've been there.
It'll go to his head. He's got to learn to control it. Fame or fortune changes everybody. I don't care who says that doesn't change it. It changes you automatically.
Of course it does. Yeah. Of course it does. And it's so funny. But what I like about my son, he always says to me, "I'll never be like you, Dad." And I mean, he said that, and it really kind of put a knot in my gut. I'm never going to be like you, Dad. Because he remembers what I went through with his mum.
That's great.
So and he loved it. He don't go out clubbing. He's out with his wife. I mean, when he first started, what did he do? Come after a fight, he'd go and have Nando's. That was it. Or sit at home and watch videos and all that with his, and he's still doing that to this day.
Good on him.
He's not into clubbing. So I think that he's got a big future. Big future.
I would like to say, Nigel, it's been an absolute honour having you on the show.
And you, buddy. Good to see you, mate.
Hey. WBC all the way, bro.
All the way, bro. All the way, man. We got it.
Thank you for talking to Brock today.
Thanks, Nigel.
Mate. God bless you.
It's been
a
pleasure.
Advice to Brock was great today as well. Thank you.
And don't forget to subscribe, Standing 8, YouTube, Apple Podcasts and Spotify.